Formula One was back at Imola this weekend, and the classic circuit gave us an equally classic race. I'm Ollie Wilson for GPFans, and this is the recap of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Red Bull's Max Verstappen secured the 11th victory of his Formula One career by taking the checkered flag in a thrilling Emilia Romagna Grand Prix that involved a frightening incident between Valtteri Bottas and George Russell. Russell has slated Bottas and asked the Mercedes driver if he was trying to kill us both in a frightening high-speed crash at the iconic circuit. The Mercedes-backed Williams driver, who was rumoured as a possible replacement for Bottas over the winter, was running in the top 10 at Imola when he attempted to overtake the Mercedes into Tamburello. The pair came together, spearing both cars heavily into the wall. Russell immediately went over to confront Bottas, slapping the top of the Finn's helmet and receiving a middle finger in reply. Explaining his view of the crash on Sky Sports F1, he said, "I was coming up on Valtteri massively fast. I had slipstream. I had DRS. And just as I pulled out, he jolted very slightly to the right. It is a tactical defense that drivers in the past used to do, sort of the Verstappen move of 2015. There is a gentleman's agreement that it is not what you do because it's very dangerous. In completely dry conditions, I would have been fine, but it put me onto the wet patch and I lost it. An unfortunate incident, but we are going at 200 miles per hour and you need to respect the speed and the conditions. One of those things." When discussing what was said in the immediate aftermath, Russell added, "I was asking if he was trying to kill us both." Russell has not yet scored for Williams and was desperate to make the most of his opportunity, while Bottas, in contrast, had been struggling in the race and is not used to scrapping for points at the lower end of the top 10. "We were going incredibly fast. He knows the conditions. In his eyes, he's not fighting for anything. A P9 for him is nothing, and for us, it's everything. I'm making the move. The move would have been absolutely easy, and he had no reason to jolt like that. It's a gentleman's agreement between the drivers, because we've always said there would be a massive accident one day. I'm sure he is as frustrated with me as I am with him. The faintest of movements at 200 miles per hour is a massive thing, and it is not just the speed, it is the speed difference. I was probably going about 30 miles per hour quicker than him, and about to overtake him. Perhaps if it was another driver, he wouldn't have done that." Christian Horner has praised Max Verstappen for his brave opening lap move on Lewis Hamilton that set up victory in the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Verstappen attacked the pole sitter Hamilton from the start and muscled his way past in the first chicane, forcing the Mercedes driver to rattle over the curbs and lose part of his front wing end plate. But after the race was stopped for almost 30 minutes, the Dutchman almost threw away his lead ahead of the restart, half spinning at Rivazza as he prepared to lead the field back to green flag racing. "It was a great performance by Max today," said Horner. "He got a mega start and braved it out into the first turn, and thereafter controlled the race brilliantly." Laughing off the Dutch driver's tank slapper moment, Horner added, "Other than that little wobble, that was the only mistake he made all afternoon." It was a mix of relief and delight for Horner, whose team left the season opener in Bahrain 3 weeks ago with heads firmly down, having been defeated by Mercedes despite clearly showing the best race pace in the field. After Verstappen delivered this time out, Horner pointed to the momentum being generated with an uncharacteristically strong start to the season for the Milton Keynes-based outfit that sits just 7 points adrift of Mercedes. "It's by far the best start we've had for quite a few years now, so we just want to keep building the momentum," he said. "It's fantastic for Honda. It's their first win here since Ayrton Senna in 1991 here. It's always tough to lose a race like we did in Bahrain, where it's so marginal. So to come here, get that victory. There's only 1 point between the two drivers. There's still a huge distance in this championship still to run. We just want to build that momentum, and we have to take it all the way through the year. We've got a good car, but we can see Mercedes are still very quick. Their tyre degradation is better than ours. You've only got to look at that at the end of the stint on the Inter and their pace at the end of the race. Lewis got the fastest lap by a decent margin. We're going to have to go some to keep them under pressure. And finally, Lando Norris was ecstatic to have secured the second podium finish of his Formula 1 career after claiming third in the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix at Imola on merit for McLaren. Norris was left bitterly disappointed after losing his fastest time in qualifying that denied him third on the grid, instead starting 7th. But the Briton successfully put this emotion behind him to stand on the podium at the end of a thrilling race. "I'm happy," said Norris. "I think a nice recovery after yesterday. A long race, a tough one, but I didn't start so well. It was a tough start, but I came back and had a good pace. I tried hanging on to second, but Lewis was a bit too quick for me today. It's nice to be fighting these guys, to be there on merit and there on pure pace, and hopefully we can have some more in the future." So an all-out action affair at Imola comes to an end this Sunday. Who was your driver of the day? Was it Mighty Max, who was on top of the podium, or Nifty Norris, who was able to secure third? Let us know in the comments section below. And of course, hit that subscribe button to stay tuned with everything going on around Formula 1 here with GP Fans.